All right, hello everybody. So today we are going to be talking about everything you need to record guitar at home, okay? So the barrier to entry with this is kind of strong because of two main factors. There's the cost of equipment and the learning curve. So today I'm going to try to minimize this or minimize the overwhelm as best I can for you. So, the first thing that you're going to want to need is my gift to you. It's a free Elite Tones cheat sheet. And what this does is it gives you 9 ways to dial in record worthy amp sounds, okay? So, whether you already have an amplifier at home or you want to use an amp sim, this will work especially well with that. And you'll see as we dive in towards the end of this presentation why this can be really useful for you. So, go ahead and download that right now. And we're going to proceed with gear, okay? So when I say gear, I mean the physical stuff, like the hardware. And so one of the most important things you're going to need first is an interface. And what this does is it acts as like an input jack for your computer. So you can sort of basically adjust the incoming signal with the knobs right on the interface. With acoustic guitars, though, you're gonna want to get another microphone, which you can also plug right into your interface. Okay, so you can either, if you're playing an electric guitar, you could just plug it right in with your regular guitar cable, or with an acoustic guitar, you could just plug that cable right into the interface as well. And what I use is a very common interface. It is the Scarlett 2i2. It gives you 2 different input jacks, so if you want to use a guitar and a mic at the same time, this is a great way to go. The next thing you're going to want to need is a studio monitor set, okay? And what these do is they act as your amp speakers for your computer. Those also plug into your interface. So they allow you to hear the sound properly. So, like, you're really going to want these, especially if you get into mixing music that you record. But the drawback with studio monitors is that they can be expensive. Like, a decent pair can cost you a few $100. So keep that in mind. But I'm going to show you an alternative on the next slide. And what I happen to use are the Atom Audio T5Vs. They are a great set for my situation. So the alternative to studio monitors are headphones. They are much more affordable. They might cost you around $100, give or take. They're also less disruptive. So if you're living with other people, instead of the music coming through the speakers, it'll just go right through your headphones. The drawback with headphones, though, is that they don't represent sound as well as studio monitors. So, like if you get into mixing, the studio monitors are something you're really going to need. What I use for headphones are the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro closed back headphones. And another thing is if you decide you want to record vocals, I know this is more guitar oriented, the headphones they're going to be really important for that, so you could hear yourself without hearing the incoming music that you're singing over. All right. Software. So to get started with recording, you're going to need something to save your music to. And that would be a digital audio workstation, or a DAW, but I'm going to call it a DAW. And what this does is it allows you to record, edit, mix, and master your music all on the same program. It's also a very helpful creative tool. So if you have ideas and you want to make sure you remember them and have a place to store them, your DAW will be a great place for you to save your ideas all in one place. What I use for a DAW is something called Reaper, and I love Reaper. There are many reasons, but I'm going to give you just a few. It's inexpensive, so you could trial it for free, and then a standard license is only 60 bucks. It's also constantly being updated and improved, and there are tons of great free plugins that come with Reaper. Like, I love their EQ. I use it all the time. Those are some other things you're gonna need, and we're gonna talk more about that right now. So what these do is they add sonic flavors to your music. They enhance the quality of your sound, and they usually come in the form of effects, virtual instruments, and for guitarists especially, amp sims. So some effects could be like reverb, delay, compression, and like I mentioned before, EQ. Something like virtual keyboards or virtual drums. And then amp simulators are what we're going to talk about next. So what they are basically virtual amplifier programs. So they're digital representations of physical amplifiers. And many of them require something called an impulse response or an IR. And what that is basically a cabinet sim. So just like there's amp sims, there's also cabinet sims. And the cabinet sims or IRs basically serve as one of the final pieces in the signal chain. So in the front, you're going to start with your guitar. It'll go through your interface, and then it'll go through your software, including your amp sims and your virtual cabinets. And then finally, it'll come through your monitors or headphones. And I just want to share with you my favorite amp sim. It's called Amped Roots by ML Sound Lab. I don't really have to do much of anything to get this thing to sound good. But if you really want to make your amp sim sound good and realistic, or if you want to be able to dial in record-worthy amp sounds, again, I want to give you that free Elite Tones cheat sheet. You can find the link for that in the description, and you can also find it at my website at zachshawguitar.com. So I'm going to pause for a minute, see if anybody has any questions, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, no questions. That is totally okay. If you guys think of any questions, or if you're watching the playback version of this, feel free to drop a comment, and I'd be happy to answer those. Thank you so much for watching. This is something that's really fun to be able to do once you have it set up and you cross those barriers to entry. And so I wish you good luck with this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.